So, let's get into this. My vision test. Easy. The shit I'm like, I'm telling you. I know everything I really want to do.
What we're gonna do right here is go back.
I just recently did something kind of radical for my account. I sold all my gems on my entire account. All of this, and then I'm gonna show you another one. Added up to like 230, 240,000 gold. And granted, it took me a long time to get that, but my account's at a place now where I can make like 2 to 4 level 7s a week, which means I can restock with level 5s or restock with 7s and then use silver. There's a long scheme here. So this is the final iteration of the gem video, and basically like 150,000 golds, and it's been like a week, and it went up, so that this was worth it. This was worth it for me, especially somebody who doesn't make a lot of gold and is perpetually broke. And I still have all my investments. I didn't sell them yet, and I'm assuming they're gonna keep going. Should I just kind of show it? Should I show it? I guess I kind of already said it, but yeah, basically when I had sold the gems, I bought juice pouches with it. So I put 230,000 gold into juice pouches. This is now worth 370,000. I did sell 10 or 20 of these, to even them out, because it was like 15 and like 7. It was just weird numbers, and I'm OCD freakish as fuck, but there's a lot of gold sitting here, okay? And it's only gonna go up. But that's not the point of this video. The point of the video is gem. Gonna go for 4 characters is because I can't, because of what I had done with the gems, which worked out really well. And I know gems are up double value before that guy jumps on it, but if you do the math, I made more money off the pouches. I would have made like 460,000 if I waited to sell my gems 2 weeks longer. I made an additional 70,000 2 weeks ago. So yeah, just saying, I made more money 2 weeks sooner, you know. And then if I wanted to, I could have actually just dumped them back into gems and then doubled my money again, but I didn't do that. I didn't see that coming. That would have been smart. I should have listened. But either way, resources, right? And I'm gonna have a video coming out with the math. I've already done a couple of these things, but to do the tests for this, I had to let rest build on certain characters while it didn't build on others, so I could prove what farming without rest would look like. And I know a lot of you can see that, but I needed the numbers on screen, so give me a little bit more time. That'll be the next video to be basically a backup video to this video called proof. And maybe it won't be proof. But it allows you to plan like a month out, and then you can kind of calculate what your losses are. And the reason why this stuff is important is because we're, let me show you another referenceable concept, I guess, real quick. This, you know, all of you guys have seen this, you know, how much it's going to cost us to get characters. Actually, let's pick a more relevant character than that. Just look at the main. 1520. Yeah, like just to get to 1520 from where I'm at currently, it's a lot of resources. So that's really why I'm doing this. I just want to show you guys some stuff. And you know, no FOMO or nothing. Rest assured, like from what I've seen, you should guaranteed be able to get 1, 2, maybe even 3 characters where you want them based on the farm rates, as long as you're consistently playing the game. Not consistently like every single day, and that's what I'm trying to show here, but consistently playing. Also, this would take about 10 points. So this is where it got interesting too. There's a lot to talk about here. It would take you about 10.5 hours to complete this 7-day cycle of 6 characters, whereas it only takes 4.5 hours if you play 3 days. So the 3 rested days are really what you want to go for, 2 or 3 rested days, because it's taking you like a fraction of the half of the time, and you're only losing, like, again, what they said, 33% of the resources. Yeah, boss rush OP. Like, it's possible. Like, it is possible, boss rush OP. A lot of friends that I have that are like on 1, 2, or 3 characters, and they think that's okay. You're losing value. Like, you really are losing value. What could you possibly still be doing on that character after 2 hours, right? 3 hours almost on that character. So, and then especially 5 hours. Like, if you're playing anywhere from 40 to 80 hours a week and you're still in a roster of less than 6, wow, like, you're just wasting your time. Genuinely. First off, I want to say to everybody that didn't think I could get this far with budget engravings, I still had budget engravings on a lot of my characters. And going through Brel and finding a really good static was the only reason I even updated some of my characters, was because they deserved better from me, right? And some of my characters still actually have the budget builds, because why the fuck not? I'm waiting for the new jewelry, just like I said before. But let's keep, we're gonna draw a couple things out really quickly, because I need to paint the picture in the beginning of this game. No pun right here, right? But I need to hustle through this, so just stay with me. If you can't keep up, I'm sorry, but you're not gonna get this. You probably already put the game anyways. But anyways, we're gonna break this up. Let's do this quickly too. Let's do it like this. So the game came out in like February. Okay, and we all know what the release is here, where I'm not gonna put 22 in all of these. And I think this one was the one we said was Vaulted. And I know someone's gonna be like in the comments, actually, it was this. No, just fuck off, okay? I don't care what you have to say. This isn't about details, it's about ideology. If you have not gotten that far with me in any of my YouTube videos, then there's a reason you don't watch my shit. To sell all of my gems, let me just cut to the chase. Like, I'm about to sell all of my gems again, and I'm gonna show you why. And that's crazy, Rick, but I need the account progression. I don't need it, I want it. I wanna do it because it's fun, it's challenging, it's different. People think it's crazy, so it's cool. Yeah, anyways, the point is that you guys spent a lot of money on jewelry and just dumbass shit in this phase of the game when gold mattered the most, and now we're in the phase of the game where the gold matters the least, and you need to buy these things again. But how much did they go up? They doubled. It took a year for you to double your money. Do you remember how much I doubled? Because it's in that video. It's in that video that I made, the video series about how I doubled my money in a week. Or what was it, doubled, almost tripled, whatever the fuck it was. It was like crazy numbers, right? Shut up, please. You waited a year to get your returns. You. And that's not returns, you grinded that. That's not a return, you earned those gems. The point is to use them to then pivot the market at different points in time, like right now. Artist is gonna be the most anticipated release in the entire fucking game. And there's people probably coming back to the game. I'll bet you we see a player's fight. Like, I'm willing to put all of my gems on this, right? There is no reason to get your 8-week set. There's no reasons to rush anymore. We're genuinely at a place in the game where everyone's going to be doing the exact same fucking content for maybe multiple years. They don't have a choice. That's the thing. Gatekeeping aside, bullshit aside, they don't have a choice but to keep doing the same weekly fucking content with you. So it doesn't matter where you are at eye level. If you're at 75, I'd say, and up, or 60 really and up, because people are going to be doing Vaulted and Blankets, right? So now that point has been settled and out of the way, you understand why I'm not afraid of doing this, because I understand the value that is there in time. So now let's just kind of X out of paint. I don't need to paint no more. If that wasn't clear enough for you, you suck. So we're gonna get through this really fast, because I've been noticing my videos are long, and I'm sorry for that. So, but yeah, I did do it. I did, do the gem thing. So I sold my gems. That one I think was before I did this. That was probably just for gold, 16,750. So that's pretty good. But we're gonna go to, I sold them on her and him as well, and then I realized I should just be sending them to one character to sell them, so I'm not gonna show all of them, but I'll go to her real quick, because I also combined one level 10. I could have made 4, but I didn't want to risk it, so I just went for 1. And I undersold it kind of like by like 30 or 40k, so people are gonna hate. But I was right, so the whole point was that the video was right. Basically bought things that even if they crash, I'm gonna need them anyways, and into these. And I bought most of these at like 1500, 14, 13, because people were crashing them really hard. And then I bought most of these at like 600, and last is the evaluation I did, quote unquote. That's kind of wise, because like I made so many different investments that I got to see like where I should have put my money, and it should have been in the books. I should have just dumped into these fucking books. But yeah, so now we'll do the weapon books. 300,000, 1,700. It's not a big margin, but 40,000. So I should have just bought more of these, really. So 130,000 gold in a week just from those. So this is the sale history. This is what I was selling gems for. What they sold for, 54, 55, 55. I'm going to show you what they've crashed down to already, because I kind of predicted it. And we're going to scroll back a page. So this is the first one I sold. So 18.5, 66, 56, 56, 65. All the good stuff. So just do, like, I haven't actually done the math here, and I have to add in here that
I'm damn proud of myself for selling my gems twice.
Let's make the preface of the video right at the beginning. So this video is going to be about spec versus swiftness overall in the entire game, and we're going to make a few examples. And basically, it's a very controversial topic in the community for the most part. It is and it isn't. Like, there's a lot of people that are very swiftness based, especially when it comes to support. And ATK actually made a video about swift bard versus spec bard, and I'm here to tell you why spec bard is guaranteed better. That there's no competition, that there's no dispute, as a matter of fact, and I'm going to go over the reasons why here in this video, so stay tuned. Basically, the first thing that we're going to talk about to make this point very clear is we're going to talk about the diminishing returns with cooldown in this game, okay? And in order to get that ideology across with diminishing returns, we need to talk a little bit about the fights. So again, the point that I am making actually has absolutely nothing to do with your specific character or setup or circumstances. It has everything to do with the mathematical agenda and mathematical parameters of the game itself. Period. The end. Things eventually stop. Like, so if you get to 45, it's DR, you can't do damage. 40. Until 40 comes, you can't do damage. I think you can actually. You can damage the wolf. That's a lie. So when the blue wolf comes out at 40, you can still keep damaging it, but then as soon as the 30 bar locks in for the next mech, you can't damage it. But this really only applies to content that one we're over leveled for. But the reason why I'm saying spec is overall just better in the game and always will be is because the majority of the content that we're going to be doing forever will always be over leveled for. There's only ever going to be one piece of content that you're technically on par for, if that makes sense. You understand the design of the raids, and I'm sure you already got that. That is stop and go, stop and go, stop and go, stop and go. And the swiftness classes can't keep doing damage, so even though the spec classes are on cooldown, it doesn't matter. Now we're going to talk about why cooldown is actually one of the biggest DRs in any video game. This has nothing to do with Lost Ark. This is all games all together. So my point here is that you're putting 1700 stat into something for an extra measly 9 skills in a fight. Point that I'm trying to make now, and this isn't even fucking accurate. That's why this is hilarious. Like, this is actually still inaccurate to such a degree that I can't even express. But, and again, as you get higher and higher gems, it just becomes more and more not used to. It's not that you're not still getting returns, because I know I brought up DR earlier, and I can show you the DR. The DR is pretty bad here. You're losing like 20 or 30% of your gains here, stat-wise. Like, so after like 1400, you just start getting heavy DR, right? Just that they're, you know, these guys are all talking about mid-maxing. Mid-maxing is finding that equilibrium point where you can't really benefit from something anymore because of the design of the game, and then starting to put your stats where you can still gain benefit from it. Okay, I gotta fix her. But the point is I have 600 swiftness. Okay. That's all I'm saying. Just watch my uptime. Kind of how to play, I guess. There's the first DPS buff. By the time this is done, he's up in the air, so I can't do anything. It'll be a waste. That was a waste. But even still, like, I should have waited downtime. See what I'm saying, though? It's like, it's not perfect. It's not perfect, but I'm gonna have my buff back by the time we even hit again. So that's what I'm trying to say. Like, spec's the way to go. It's not even a competition. It really isn't. It's due to Evolved Mentalities channel. So this is the last check-in. As you can see in the background, I have about 28 hours clocked in. The reason I'm showing you this as well is because I want you to see that I really haven't played a lot in the last couple weeks. So I got about 37 hours clocked, or 27 hours clocked, I should say, about each week, because I still hit my goal. So I'm saying this to you because not only did I recover my gems to a point or a degree, like I had said, to be able to just kind of get the content done at least week 1, but in addition to that, I've also got the content done week 1. And we're gonna meet 1560, 1560, 1560, 1560, 1560, and 1560. So I have 6 1560s by week 1 of Brel. I'll hit it 18,500 for level 7s, right? So I made like 7. But that's ridiculous. Like, I don't even want to do the math right now because it's just, that's crazy. That's crazy, right? Like, my profits were fucking fat off of that. But yeah, so anyways, I haven't started buying the gems back. So this is what I produced just by doing my content in the minimal amount. That's why I pointed out the playtime at the beginning too. So I want you guys to understand that I actually didn't even really play that much to re-obtain what I obtained. So you'll notice a trend, and I'm happy that Asmongold reacting to TTK video pointed out a lot of empirical data concepts, which can't be denied, right? And I loved at the end of the video how he said, you know, if you're trying to win your players over and keep them, clearly you're failing, and he just showed the player count, right? And how it's increased over time. But it's really simple. You need to give us more time to do the content. We're still going to be in that phase of the game playing together, so hopefully gatekeeping gets better. But again, if they keep pushing content down our throats, it's not. Gatekeeping's going to get worse. They need to give us more time in between phases of the content, and need to make sure again that the overhead of resources is so fucking large that if we choose to skip 4 weeks in a row, that it's not going to penalize us in the grand scheme. So this is an account that you guys haven't seen on the YouTube channel at all. And a lot of you probably think like I use this account to funnel gold towards my main, but no, that's actually not the case. I've actually sent this account 50,000 gold at one point. So if anything, it hurt my main account to get this account set up. But yeah, I mean, I just wanted to show, like, I don't really play on this account much. At about 160 hours playtime. So that's why I want to point this out, is that this is the 160 hours playtime that you can get just by passively collecting the rewards. It's the Guardian rates here. I'm going to show you why. Because you don't really care about this account's progression. And this is what I'm assuming. You might actually care about your account's progression. I did not, right? Do you see what Guardian it's hovering over? Now let me show you. Because I'm going to go in here, and this is actually really good for events too. It's really good for events as well, because I'm going to get the tokens for the event without actually doing the hard content. So I actually, and this is the thing, of here, maybe not yellow. Blue. You wanted to at least have your characters here, okay? So that way they could funnel above. And then to get to 1540, you wanted to have at least your characters here if you wanted to funnel above. And it's the same concept here. If you don't have characters at least 1490, I should have put 1490. Again, 1490, you want to be able to farm them up. But the problem is this little gap. See how big this gap was over here? See how big this gap is? Right? See how much range that farming helped us, that funnel? This one's much smaller. This one's much smaller. And that's why I'm only making it a goal of getting 6 characters there, because they didn't fuck us. They did the exact same funnel that I would have had back then. I had 12 characters. I was looking at footage. So I had 12 back then too, at the eye level. And then the other characters were all kind of just being made. I didn't have 20, right? So it's about understanding this ratio. It's understanding your accounts ratio, right? So like what I just pointed out with the Guardian Stones, if I want to get Guardian Stones on that character, my accounts ratio can produce, you know, almost 1,000 of them a week. You know, that means, or it was more than that, wasn't it? But I can produce so many in a short period of time that I can funnel into the account. Actually, don't hone, don't hone, don't hone. And then I said it was better to hone, right? Like the inflated markets. So we're gonna draw a couple lines. I should just be focusing on my main 6 characters, because we're in a deficit market. So my alts aren't really producing a whole lot of value for the account. I'm not, because I have a plan and I want to attack that plan, and it's big and important not to change your plan unless you see something cataclysmic coming your way, right? Because you want to stick to it. If you start changing your plans all the time, you're gonna have a game like Lost Ark, divided by 60 to 60 minutes in an hour, 16 hours. So you went from 28 hours to 16 hours. I saved you 12 hours a week. You lost 200 stones. You're playing the game using the rest bonus the way it's intended to be used. And the value, from what I've proved in the beginning of the video, will be returned to you within that 4-month period, which is totally okay if it takes 4 to 5 months. It's okay if it takes 4 to 5 months to return the value, because they get to that point and now they're able to continue funneling. And what you're not understanding, I guess, is this is why I have a problem with people sitting on gold and sitting on silver, is that you could be farming a higher tier of something, earning more rewards. So not only is your point, but in the time that they're returning that value, in the next 4 months that they're returning the value that they just used, the value that you're talking about, they're also going to be increasing the value that they're producing over time. And by the time we get to that 4-month mark, it's all profit. It'll all be profit at that point. Once they're where they need to be, which is here, 1520, 1540, because of the free stuff, there's no cost anymore. It's all profit from that point forth until I decide to start pushing them again. I'm having a real hard time with you, buddy, because this should be fucking straightforward and simple. But that's it, guys. Catch you guys in the next one. It's another Evolved Mental moment. This is why you need alts. If it's not clear, I'm probably gonna make a billion more videos on this, but total needed resources to get somewhere. And what I mean by total needed resources is if you have a month worth of playtime, you will accumulate in that month, if you play however the hell you play, a ratio of resources from honor shards to leap stones to silver to everything, to reds and blues. Gold is the easiest of those to obtain absent playtime. Anyways, the point is you'd rather sit on 300k instead of putting that 300k into 3 different characters that will produce that 80k back over that same period of time that you needed the 80k by. You don't need the 80k right now in your main. You don't need it for months. You don't need this right now. You don't need it until you get to that point. So you're sitting on gold and you're sitting on silver and resources that could be gaining each day more resources. See what I'm saying? It's fucking simple math. That's why I'm using it and explaining it like this. Because the fact that you don't get it is terrifying. But people are getting their characters to 1580 or 1590 and there's no benefit. You don't go out and buy shit that you can't use immediately or eat right now. Like, it's just dumb. It's dumb. It's not only is it stupid, it shows how little you guys actually know about the world. But if you don't have a way of making your money back, pushing to 1570 or 1580 is a waste of your fucking time. There's not a dungeon or a guardian. There's nothing giving you anything for that right now. So, and these are those same kids that are like, you're wasting your money on alts and stuff. At least my alts are producing more resources by me putting shit into them. You're putting shit into a character that stopped giving you resources 40 levels ago. You fucking ape. Do you know what I mean? Like, and no offense, because there's a lot of people who do it. I get it. I don't want to hate. But if you're going to hate on me, you better be prepared to be told you're fucking dumb anyway. Like, and that's what that is. It sucks, but because there's nothing. If you can get to 1570 or 1580 right now, you can do it in 2 months. If you can do it right now, you can do it in a month. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. It's the stupidest shit and nobody gets it. It's like, if you can do it now, you'll be able to do it later. So you should just wait. You should play the time. Even if you do it the week before and you save up the gold in preparation for it. You know what I mean? Like, it's, I don't know.
Just throw logic out the window because they foam.
It's true.
Alright, we're gonna make up for yesterday, and we're gonna overperform today. Alright? Because we did bad yesterday. Today, we're the difference.
What I end up going over I discovered that the dungeon 1580 and 1610 give us the new materials, which we need the Akkan gear to use. So for all those people, copium, that are like, yo, we're getting the new dungeons. No, I doubt it. And maybe I could still be wrong here, but I actually doubt that I'm going to be wrong. I was right. So we're not getting the new dungeons. We're not getting the new Guardian raids. Look out for you!
Holy shit.
It wasn't real enough for Georgie. This guy's one economic video I saw was basically he called out the equilibrium. He didn't call it this, but he knows what he's talking about in this regard. These have plateaued, and if anything, they're going down now. These are not going to go higher than 50 gold a piece, even when we get closer to Akkan. This is about our peak, 45, 40, 50, right? Maybe 60, right? But 50 is about the peak. So when he said sell them, he's right. Like, you should be selling them at 40 to 45. It's a good place to be selling them right now, because it's not that it's the highest it's ever been, or it's just great gold. It is great gold, but it's the fact that it's the highest it's probably going to get ever again, and that's the principle there. So another quick tip. Let's see, we got a couple more. I'm going to bang out a few of these here. I would wait on these, buy these last minute. Maybe not. Ooh, that's a tough one. Do your good luck, actually.
Little hellions, kids feeling rebellious, embarrassed. The parents still listen to Elvis.
March alone.
Which was your 100% resources produced limit before, because you only had 6 characters and you were doing everything unrested. I took that limitation that you had and I showed you how to increase it by taking short losses, 40% losses using rest, showing how you take a 15,000 gold loss per week, doing Una's dailies the way I'm telling you to do it, playing the game significantly less or the same to produce a significant amount more resources. I just showed you how to raise your bar, your overall bar, to 230% of the resources for the exact same amount of playtime, if not less. If not less. You're taking 30% of the player base away from the brel materials, so these are no longer going to have, if there was 100 a day being produced here, there's now only going to be 120 gold when Marvelous just came out. To me is essentially this concept. When they do these soft resets, is because the players aren't farming the same materials anymore, they kind of split the economy into 2 sections, and that doesn't mean that these mats crash. As a matter of fact, what actually happened to Marvelous's or Great Honors back in the day is it actually brought the prices back up, because supply and demand. There's this guy at work that actually taught me this. He's a finance instructor, and he taught me about how volume precedes price. And I do recommend buying at this point. So the first week or so of the Akkan mats is where I would be buying my mats. I wouldn't be selling my mats until week 3. When the majority of the player base, so when the majority of this 30, because you got to remember there's going to be a lot of people that'll have it first, when the majority of this 30 has their sets and can start buying these materials to level up, right? So food for thought, that's the economic predictions. Essentially what happens again is it gets broken down into a tier. Somehow I was right about stopping at the point they stopped at, but whatever, that's a different story. And then another arc pass for the end of the year. So that's it, guys. Really what the big exciting part is that with the Akkan we're going to be getting the Chaos Engine and the Guardian Raid change already. And that's like a year ahead of where they got it technically progression wise. So congratulations to the Western servers for having the best version of the game that's ever been released of Lost Ark. Again, the developers are not understanding their own problems. They are giving us a release that is riddled with problems and they don't even see it. Smilegate, please hire me. hire me. I will forecast shit for you long before you even think about announcing it to the public, so you don't have to worry about these things. But this is going to be a dramatic problem. I actually contemplate that this could be the doom of the game, because we're going to get to a stagnant point now in the game, and maybe this is their plan, but we're going to get so stagnant. There is not going to be enough supply for the demand for all of us players to be able to hit these numbers, to be able to get what we need to get. We're going to get more resources, but we're not getting more rays, and we're not getting more trade skills. And
It's just more valuable if you have this 1490 rested.
yeah, that's what I'm trying to get to him. So I'm happy that you said that. You have two 1560s or higher, let's say, right? Which you don't, but you have two 1560s or higher. I'm saying this person with oh, this is fucking awesome. Thank you for saying it like that. I'm just gonna give this person 4 characters. I'm not even gonna give them 6. Okay, we're just gonna say 4 characters. This person playing 4 characters is producing more overall resources than you with your 2 main characters. That's the point.
No, I agree with that.
Thank you. That's
And
the premise.
they
That's
only
the
play
premise.
silver.
Well, exactly, they only play silver, and that's the premise of every single video that I've ever made. And maybe I sucked at teaching it and trying to get it across because I made it seem like I wanted everyone to make a bajillion alts. But no, I was trying to show them the time value concept. Other account. All right, so we're loading up this other account that we haven't really played on in forever. So it's got 165 hours. This is going to be another testament to like how the game respects your time, because I haven't really played this account. I just want to show you the progression on this account. I've had it obviously since the beginning of the game, and that is the big difference here, but that means it respects your time. I put 165 hours in over the last year, whatever that would be. Let's go ahead and do some math on screen. 5 divided by 81. Yeah, so 2 hours a week. So the account's basically done. And I'll be like, oh, I don't want to do that. I don't want to make all one character on an account. But that's what a casual player should be doing. Not just making one character, but making a roster and making them all the same, so it's easier. I did make one DPS, but that was for throwing Spire and stuff. Or 1610. 15, if this is what I'm reading is correctly, it's worth it to get your character to 1540. It's worth it to get your character to 1540 because it's a 30% increase. Not worth it to get your character to 1580. Not worth it to get your character to 1600 or 1610. 1540 is literally the perfect alt spot, and I just said this to somebody in the chat yesterday or the day before, so that's why it's really funny.
Or something like that.
I could be reading it wrong.
People will keep saying it's Ninja Nerf.
HSL. Alright, so let's pull this up. Let's okay. So this is our winner, so I'm gonna be messaging HSL in Discord. Take a good look. So I slanted the shit out of this, and you're still fucking wrong. If you can't see it now, that is your problem, because there's a lot of smart people that are going to get this, and they're going to understand it, and it's going to influence the way that they play the game and the way they think about things. So to them, congratulations, you guys have been educated. To the ones who still can't get it, go ahead and argue with me in the comments. I would have fun with this, because you're down here, you're spending fucking nothing to achieve the exact same thing that these idiots, that these morons over here, or that are doing fucking, what's a good way to put this, that are making 6 different characters, all the hardest to gear, or take the longest to gear. And why are these mistakes? Is because it's a sped up server. It's a sped up server, which means that they're not going to have the time that they had to gear these characters. They had to gear and some change to get these characters geared. There's not going to be anything in the market for them to buy yet. So these characters are just significantly going to perform significantly worse than they're currently performing, because there shouldn't be any more bots. Hopefully that'll get banned. Hopefully that will be again, I like citing my work for this. I just want to point out that the other video way back when, it wasn't BS and it wasn't a ruse. There was real data there, and if you learned from it, fantastic. If you didn't, I don't know what to tell you. I will say that the bots are back in town, so the array problem might not be as bad as I thought, because if there's bots back, then that was kind of one of the solutions that we talked about. And you got to remember that at the end of the day, when I make these predictions, I make them on logical sums, and most of the time they're 100% dead accurate. But if the bots get released again and they start flooding the market with trade materials, that obviously will affect that. But anyways, let's get into this. We're gonna go 4 months out one more time. Now, I don't know what Thaemine, and I don't know if will give us for gold, but we're not even going to count that, because the equation is the same. The only reason the equation changes is because when Voldis comes out, they're going to swap in Brel probably for Voldis, but can I be completely honest with you, Brel is actually giving you more gold than Kayangel. So I don't know about all that. Like, that's kind of what's crazy is if they swap out Brel, it's actually not more efficient. That's the craziest part about this. But I don't even care what Voldis gives you because this player is still going to make it to Voldis in the 4 months and get those 6 characters to 1600. The difference is instead of doing it now, they're going to do it closer to the release of it. So we're not going to get into that because the numbers won't change that much. As a matter of fact, it's not going to change that much. If you follow the scheme, I'm already almost there. I have 31540s. Like, I'm already almost there. I'm ahead of schedule. I might even go for some extra ones, to be honest.
If I put endurance, I have more heals?
For yourself. And your shields are
myself.
Bigger. I thought it used to do it for everyone, but it didn't work.
The only thing which increases for everyone is spec.
Okay, spec.
Which is shit. It's cheating.
What about Swift? So I should have more... Oh, I understand what you mean. So as I'm getting stronger, I should taper off swiftness and just have enough to maintain 100% uptime, but again, more specialization.
Yeah, basically. That's basically what I was saying.
The Helmo community is the nicest part of this community.
That's true. You know what's weird? That's like the one place where nobody kind of cringes over the fact that they use DPS meters, but it's because it's like so kind of not needed, but like it is really like to know if you're doing enough damage in a run.
You know, guys, what I'm actually happy about? We can have this community. We are all together here, and we can talk to each other.
I don't know what you're talking about. I just contemplated kicking you right there.
Okay. Do.
World boss.
If you want this, then okay. It was nice helping you.
You want this?
Bye.
They can't. If they release whatever they're gonna release around the entropy thing and it's bad, they ruin their game instantly.
Yes.
Half their player base is gonna quit. So I don't think. I just can't see them. Maybe I don't know, but I think that they'll. do this.
They said they will delete it.
Yeah, but I mean, having something to fill in the void, though, is what I'm getting at. Like, if they do that, absent something substantial, that's... I mean, it fucked up half of my roster.
The funny thing...
It should sell. Alright, Valley. So, because you kind of earned it. Like, come on. Let's talk about some of this stuff. So, TLDR, what I'm here to tell you before I get into the explanation of why I'm here to tell you it is pushing for 1620 is a stupid ass idea. The point that I'm trying to get at here is that there's a lot of people who didn't even clear the hard mode content because they just weren't good enough, or the gatekeeping was too stiff, or we had a major support shortage at the top. So now you think that Voldis, a range that's even crazier for us to have to go push, a range that's even crazier for us to have to go push in this allotted amount of time, especially for free-to-play players or players that grinded it over time, are going to be able to make it? You think the support shortage isn't going to be worse? You're fucking dull. You're dull. So anyways, this is Whalebait. I don't recommend the same recommendation I said way back in the videos and in the podcast, which is months ago now, because, you know, we just stay predicting shit ahead, kid. And I could flash the gold prediction video, but I just want to point out quickly how the economy is doing exactly what I said it would do. It just took a couple extra weeks. We're in the plateau phase that I predicted. We hit the spike phase, we've been in the plateau phase, and now guess what's coming next? Not to say I told you so, but I told you so. And I don't even know if I'm going to be able to make this, but it's a ridiculous fucking thing to try to achieve, especially at the end game state where we're going to be doing Voldis as the third piece of content, Thaemine right above it. Even if they release another piece of content within the next year or next 4 or 5 months, Voldis is still going to be the content we're doing for over a year now. For over a year we're going to be doing Voldis, so you guys are about to rush something that's already set up to be the end game. And for all the
shouldn't either. Let's go ahead, jump into it. Number 1.
Also, just gotta say, I commend you on your ability to turn a video that's actually kind of complex into 3 minutes and 56 seconds. I love it. I watch your content often, again and again, just so I can try to steal that. I'm not even kidding.
I believe.
Like, I don't know how you do that. Like, that's
coming. We got a massive honing nerf
with a calm tone
for
I like that
Shot
stuff.
Hard and
So
when
good.
Akkan came out as well. And I don't see why they wouldn't release.
So I agree with this. He's actually 100% right. We were just talking about this the other day, where it's like they usually give a nerf after the content comes out. So we'll get Brelshaza, then the nerf came out. So we'll probably get Voldis, and then like a month-ish later we'll get the nerf. I'm actually in a really big agreement with him, but for different reasons and not for everybody's roster. Like, there's a complicated equation there that I'm looking at, but I still think he's right that we'll probably get the nerf, and even if we don't, I still think he's right, and we'll talk about that later.
Another honing nerf between now and December. It's a long
But I love that he
time.
made a prediction.
And yes,
I hope he's right.
Hold on. Gold, all the silver, all.
That's that concept I've been saying for over a year of like, if you have the materials now, you'll have the materials then. If you have the 400,000 gold and the 1,000 bound leaps that you need right now to hit Voldis, but you don't need Voldis yet, then wait. Just wait. Like, if you have the materials now, you'll have the materials then. He's right. Like,
all of everything that you saved, it is now.
This is also why a lot of people just genuinely don't understand the leveling the alts concept, but you can get more value quickly for less money out of your alts fast to get value back. And yes, it might not be the same value as quickly as you'd think, but the concept there is that eventually it's because your top characters are plateaued and they're 1610. Because we get a Guardian at 1610 and it's the last Guardian we're getting for a while. So I actually think you should be pushing all of your alts to 1610 over getting the 1620. And that's probably what I'm going to be doing, actually, now that I completely think about it. I think the 1610 movement is definitely the movement. Because it maximizes your farm rates basically for, other than Chaos Dungeon, because I think you get a 1620 Chaos Dungeon, but you get that on one character at a time. It would maximize your farm rates of Radiance, which means that you could just easily get your characters using funnel method up faster. Like, so in my opinion, at 1610, I think.
And then wait for like the next day and get more bound stuff. Because if I didn't do all the side content, I'd probably just buy gold eventually and try to keep tapping.
I agree.
But I saw what happened with you when you got your sidereal drop and you ran out of shards or silver or whatever it was.
Silver, yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, gold's nice, but it's kind of dangerous too if you don't have the rest. You're gonna like run out of something eventually. So
all of the early day guilds of the game hated me because I would call the kids out in the guilds for RMTing and they're like, you can't tell that. And I'm like, I can tell that. Like, you're running out of every other material except for gold. Like, you fucking bought your gold. It's a ratio. And
if you...
Yeah, I'm not even going to react to this whole thing. TLDR, my opinion on this is that it's a great pass. It's probably the best one that we've ever gotten. This plays into that whole cost of accelerated progression bullshit that people are hyping up right now with Kati and Stoops and fucking Jukul. And I like Jukul, don't get me wrong, but like the reality of it is that there is no cost to the accelerated progression. We've been doing perfectly fine, and although that video makes it seem like there is, I think people are taking for granted that we've had 2 passes now that will give you level 8 gems or 7 or higher gems for free completely just by leveling the character. Like, it's really hard to reason with these people because they keep saying that we're short something that they've given to us for free multiple times over. Like, I think I have 4 or 5 characters that have level 5 or higher gems just because it was given to us that I didn't have to do any work for. So I don't know how you can even, like, I don't know how you can logic that we're behind on gems and we're behind on this and we're behind on that when they're giving you those surplus amounts of resources more than they've ever given the Korean servers. Gotten to 1490 as quick as you possibly can, because that's basically free. Park them where you need to park them so you're not over abusing yourself too. But the point is, we're moving into the end phase of the game. More 1580s is kind of better. Like, if you could get all these characters to 1580, I would say go for it. Right, but you can't because that would hurt your account. So, like, because that's not a goal. You want it to be caught up by Thaemine. Like, this is the moment. This was the moment you wanted to prepare for. Basically, for when we're basically caught up with them. I think clear since we're talking about preparing for Thaemine and not Voldis, because I think Voldis is bullshit. I also think Thaemine's bullshit, but whatever. Because I know Voldis is bullshit. It doesn't matter if you get it week 1 or week 2, because we literally have 4 fucking months to get legendary. Like, you're crazy, dude. The push isn't that crazy. It's gonna get crazier. I can't with these people. But anytime blunt, actually, I wasn't gonna mention this. I was gonna make a one other video on this for my goals, my mission, right? But whatever, I'll put it in here. The reality of this is that I'm even contemplating right now taking 2 of my DPS characters, taking all the gems on them, selling them, and getting myself a bunch more 1580s, because we're in a phase that we're going to be in for a year, which means that if I can get 10 more 1580s and play the characters rested, I will play the game less than you. And in addition to playing the game less than you, I will produce more than enough resources to bring my characters through the 1650 range. Alright? That's what you're going to see kind of at the end of this, but to hit your goals, you just don't know how to hit your goals. And again, I predicted, do you guys remember when I predicted in the market? If you don't remember, don't worry, because I'm about to fucking remind you. Do you remember when I predicted in the market that the market would be really low at the beginning when Akkan first came out, and then all of a sudden, when we got the pieces of the gear, that the prices would go really fucking high up? And what did we see? A 50% increase, I think, in most mats and most materials. Almost all resources went up. So that means if you were doing what I said, which is buying reds and buying leapstones and buying those materials at that point, then they would have went up and you would have made money. Notice how with the bottleneck, by the way, with the array thing, I never said to buy. I just said we wouldn't have enough, and there's a big difference, and I want to make that perfectly clear, because I wasn't saying that the bottleneck was coming immediately. As a matter of fact, in the video I was depicting that it would come later. But the point here that I'm getting at is that I did predict that this would go up like this, and then plateau right where the plateau face. But the point that I'm getting to here is that if you were also smart and you were watching my other videos, then you would have been buying Akkan materials at this point. Which means that your gold value would have went kind of up on this other chart. You wouldn't have used as much of your baseline or as much of... You wouldn't have used as much of your baseline or as much of your gold to get what you needed to get. You can produce more of those resources and return it to yourself later on. That's the whole point. And then there's going to be somebody that's going to say, oh, but the value takes forever to return. You're going to be playing the game for a year. Shut up. Like, shut up. Please. This is the best way to move yourself forward, undeniably, undoubtedly, is to get for more 1580s. We're at that end range. We're at that point where it just makes sense again to have 40 minutes worth of content that you have to watch to understand all of this. But I don't care. If you want the education, you need it. And the kid was like, you need to make your stuff. You need to show people the value in your stuff. No, I don't. If you can't see this, I can continue to make content regardless if you see the value in it or not. And that's kind of how I started, and that's how I'll continue to be. I'm doing this because the people who genuinely understand this shit will never think the fucking same again. Period. You will not be able to understand things the same way you currently understand things after looking at shit like this. But yeah, so that's basically what I'm going to be doing. I'll catch you guys. I like the drama. I'm not gonna pretend I don't. I think it's funny. It's showmanship. Like, I don't actually hate these people's souls, right? Like, but you are a dipshit. You are a wrenchless ass ape. Fucking TLDR. This is how the progression system of the game actually works. You just don't get it, and it hurts because you could have sacrificed a lot more resources here to get your account set up further for later. But instead, you're top halving it hard. You're top halving it hard, which means that you're putting easily every time you do this too, for every piece of content, 700k gold into it, fucking another 700k gold into it, 600k, like you're just always putting massive chunks of gold into one character to get caught up, and it's crazy. It's crazy instead of leveling across the board where it's actually showing you that's the better value. But yeah, anyways, I'll catch you in the next one. Bye, guys. So before I even get into this, first off, I'm wearing the same shirt. I wanted to actually record this because it's actually 9/8/2024, right? This is way later than when this actually was. And I'm doing, obviously, you know, my smash hit Taj, Best of Evolved, Lost Ark Slaughtered, whatever we're gonna end up fucking calling it. But basically, like, all the shit I predicted correct and how great I am, and you're welcome, right? But regardless of, and I was against the grain on everybody too. So that's the other thing. Everybody didn't believe what I believed, therefore that makes it more impressive. But aside from being right about every aspect of the fucking game and your reality, apparently, when going through this, I actually realized how much angrier I am the second time, because Stoops is just an absolute dog water piece of expression that I feel. Because it's a TLDR video, and I realized that in the first 30 seconds to 2 minutes, if you trusted my math in the other two videos, the point in a TLDR, then in 2 minutes or less, you actually had your answer for you rewatching this. I hate all of you. All of you. You garbage. You fucking scum of the earth. Except Double. I kind of miss Double. And 4K. Mr. 4K's man. But the rest of you are pretty much trash. Like, all he touches kids. I mean, like, all of you, I'm done with this community. You guys are dog water. Like, you guys are actually the worst of the worst. The worst of the worst. Shouldn't that be obvious for people to know? Does that really need to be said? I didn't think it needed to be said, the thing about 16-year-old girls either, but you seem to. Because you're going to have an excess of gold, right? If you're trying to go for 1620, I think you only need like 900,000 gold or something like that total, which means that you would have made 1.6 minimum million gold in the time from Akkan to Voldis, which means that you would have more than enough excess resources to also just buy what you were short. The TLDR, right? Because we've already done the math in the other video. You have to either be the dumbest human being on the planet or the most deceptive, and that's kind of now the more I look at your video, that's what it is. So I was right the entire way. Now so far that I'm even predicting the developer's direction, and I have more actually. That's what's crazy. None of you had predictions on the developer's direction because none of you were capable of shit. But my point is that there's so much more that you could have done, and even your goofy ass could have been a part of it. The debate club, that was really the best they came up with. Like, I get it. I'm hard to deal with. I would always have been hard to deal with. Can't get away from that, but I can't wait to fucking dump on the KR shit right now. Fucking y'all are dumb, dude. How many times I gotta figure out your game for you? Fuck. It's so easy. But yeah, I just wanted to cap that off. That I do think you are kind of a dickhead. Like you're a douchebag. Because like the more I look at the way you cheesed on me, even the thumbnails, like look at the amount of originality I had to put into my shit, right? You didn't put any into yours. That's worse. That's worse. There's not like a single thing you said that I look back at now and I'm like somewhat ashamed of. I actually just look at you like an idiot. It hurts. It hurts. It actually makes me feel worse and worse and worse for you. Is that why you developed? I'm taking my mantle. I was King of Lost Ark. You can say whatever the fuck you guys need to. It might be self-proclaimed, but I don't give a shit. Name one other person who predicted as many things as I predicted. Name one other person. Name one fucking person. Give me little bingo cards. It's so cute. They're so cute. I'm giving detailed fucking analysis and breakdowns in my predictions, and you're giving me bingo cards. It's adorable. And they're always the same. We're gonna have a new character. We're gonna have story. You guys are so fucking normal. It's hilarious. God, be less than average or be more than average, and then we can have this conversation. But you're not. And that's why it hurts so fucking much. Is I have to pow down to fucking people like you in the world who are fucking garbage. I'm sorry, you just are. You're just trash. Okay, that was a little far, but it's some good fun. If your feelings are really hurt, message me. So I can tell you how much I don't give a fuck. Okay. It's a lot of deleted clips. Said some really mean shit. And they're all dated and in videos. I had the confidence and the gall to put my predictions on the line and to predict against the grain every single step of the way. I am so proud of myself, and more so proud that I get to shit on you now with it, because you suck at every aspect of fucking reality, and even the one reality that you managed to somewhat carve yourself out into, you, Gotti, and the rest of you, which is content creation, you kind of suck at that too, if I'm being completely honest. You let your fans down. They don't know that, because they're too stupid and they're brainwashed by you, but you did. You let them down hard. Boy, did you let them down. They want, like... I can take my crown. That's the whole point. Make the prediction, end up being right about another prediction, even though I'm not even in the atmosphere again, months and years in advance, like usual. And then you guys can do whatever the fuck you want with it. You can deny it like you usually do, or you can finally accept it and say, you know what, this kid was always right in the first place. But I'll let you decide. It doesn't matter to me actually anymore. 1490 and 1580 and 1580. And then that linear between 1490 and 1580 is the same linear that I'm then making between 1540 and 1610. Okay, so like the premium alt parking spot would be 1610, just like it was 1540. Why are these the premium alt parking spots? Because the distance between but the reason why you want to stop at this region and park at this region is because the distance between here and here is shorter than the distance between here and here. Material-wise, farm-wise, natural progression-wise, the whole 9-wise, even if you were funneling. So what you really should be doing is that once you get one character to 1490, you should get the rest of your characters to 1490, or at least a couple. Then push this character when you needed it to 1540, right? Park at 1540 for the long period of time while you get these other characters up to 1540, or get more 1490s. So either more 1490s or more 1540s. The more efficient thing to do is more 1490s. Not anymore. Now it's better to just get your roster slowly moving up if you're this far behind. Okay, but now we're in that same phase. So while this character's building the bounds that they need, you're leveling beneath it to get more materials immediately because you have time before you need the materials. So same thing here. You don't need 1630 right away. You don't need 1620 because it's dog water content. So it's the longer farm period. So it's actually better to just park all of your characters at 1580, even your main if you want to, and go for more 1580s instead. for these videos, and prepare for Thaemine, push more alts now, and then increase your value up until Thaemine. And there is math to back this up, because I've done it before in the past, and I did it for these videos, that says that it's actually more efficient and will increase more resources in that time frame, meaning that if you had, like, let's say up to Voldis, if you didn't level any of your mains, and you got 6 more 1580s in that time period, that 4-month time period, right? Because I had 6 at Akkan, right? If you had gotten 4 more in that time period, it says that basically or 6 more, that basically by Thaemine, you would actually produce more materials using rest bonus, playing 40% less time than if you just stuck with the main 6 characters. And it also gives those main 6 characters more time to farm bound materials, decreasing the overall cost that it would take them to get to those milestones. Wait a minute, apps and data alone, this is why I actually really don't need to do that, but I will do that. I don't need to do that because any player, I'm saying this to every player watching this, any player who's had a 1580 since Akkan release has to have had produced the same region of materials that I have, which means that it's anywhere between 9 or 8 and 14 max end cube tickets, and it's anywhere between the lowest character I have was fully rested content, so the 1680 Deathblade, who had 1680 radiance is what she had, and the high end was the 2200 from the Paladin, and that's without using the cubes. So any of you can look at your own stuff if you saved your progression on your 1580 characters, and you should have that exact same concept within 8 weeks. We're now at like 10, 11, or 12 weeks, so you should be doing the math on 10, 11, or 12, or 14 weeks, whatever we are at now, and trying to figure that out yourself. But the point is the reason I say it so confidently is because every single player in the game should have the exact same basic amount of materials, because it's the natural progression. Like, if you're gonna give me arguments that make sense. He's wrong here. This isn't the entry to the raid. The entry to the raid is 1600, which you guarantee would have been able to hit by Voldis. Natural progression, probably just with chaos touches, maybe. To the raid for Voldis is 1600, and then the entrance for Thaemine is 1610. Which means that both of those aren't in the legendary elixir thing. Again, back to my original concept on elixirs. Legendary elixirs are end game. They're not relevant right now. They're just not. They're not relevant for another 4 to 6 months. Maybe even longer. That's what's crazy. Is Thaemine, entry to the raid, right? Entry to the content. Thaemine is the entry to the content where legendary elixirs even become applicable, which means that we're guaranteed 1 to maybe even 2 more pieces of content after that where they're really going to be applicable. So not only do you have 4 months till Thaemine to prep for the entry concept that you're talking about, but you probably have 8 to 12 months to prepare for the entire phase that we're going to be in to get your legendary elixirs.
We need to make this shit easier. I swear to God.
Plus 3.4, so 9, about 10.3 minus the 3.4. So, or no, I'm sorry, minus the 6.8. So you made an additional 4 million gold by doing what I told you to do in the exact same amount of time. Here's the difference. Like I said, why wealthy people are wealthy is the difference is instead of just getting a liquidity return on investment, you now have 12 characters. You have 12 properties producing value. So you went from having the next question would be, are you spender or free to play?
Free to play.
Okay, so free to play, this is where it does kind of change a little bit. So to do anything like what I've done, you would have to make multiple rosters because you can't have more than 6 characters on your roster. But with that being said, I do think the perfect roster really is 6 characters sometimes, because it allows you to take 2 main characters that you focus on at all times, while 4 characters are always parked at some alt parking spot. So what do you think about that? Do you know what you kind of want to do with that? Because I'm basically saying I want you to make more characters. I want you to max out your roster. And granted, your characters aren't going to be able to be geared or be able to do any of the content for a little while, but that's why your goals are going to be different than other people's goals. Me asking you to get to 1580 in a month is kind of ridiculous because you have no real funnel built. You have no real, like, horizontal progression done yet. And I don't mean that in the sense of like cards and all that crap, which is probably true. I mean in the sense of like you're just not ready for 1580 range yet, right? So I think looking at your roster, maybe get these characters to 1490 and these 2 will be your mains, but make 4 alts behind this using the knowledge transfer system and slowly leveling them up. Don't go crazy with the event shop, but like you're one of those players where everything that you're getting extra material wise, like all of that stuff, I wouldn't be putting into these main 2 characters. I would actually be putting into characters behind it. Granted, if whatever character you use the express pass on and use the road to soul eater on, if it's this character, then no, you should be focusing this character to a degree. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah.
Set, or the constant that is honing or upgrading. Bots are important to the economy. They're allowing you to do things that you wouldn't have been able to do otherwise. Do I think that I want them forever? Do I not want them banned? No, of course I want them banned, but I do think we're at a tipping point right now where there's too many people at the top end that didn't get it legitimately, either RMTing or whatever you want to say, I don't care, but they're at the top end and they didn't get it legitimately, that if they were to just completely get rid of the bots now, that these people are probably going to quit the game, or the people just beneath them will probably quit the game because there won't be enough surplus. It'll be even worse than it was before to be able to actually hit the goals that they want to hit, because the bots have already existed now. Because the bots have already pushed us to a cracked point of the game. Without the bots, we actually don't sustain as healthily as we could, if that makes sense, because we have more characters than we actually should at this end game state. So I'm not trying to disagree with everything they say. I want to get rid of the bots too. I'm just disagreeing with a few of the things they say, and this one's the biggest one for me, and this is actually a part of my teachings, the Evolved Mentalities, is that it's actually better to hone in an inflated economy than it is in a deflated economy, and the reason is that the cost of upgrades do not change. Honing in the inflated economies, which was this economy now. The save economy is the economy that we're moving into. We're about to move into a deflated economy, so this is a nice little economic prediction, a little Easter egg for everybody that watches my videos all the way through. We're moving into a deflated economy, and I mean probably one of the most deflated economies that we've ever had, other than like the beginning of the game, so be prepared for that. This is where you would stock up on blue crystals. I actually think the class looks kind of crappy in my opinion, but that's just personal opinion. Okay, so this is the concept that I wanted to talk about. We get the hyper alts. This is cool, just another way to keep us busy for a little bit. If you're not seeing this how I'm seeing this, a lot of this content is actually filler content to just buy them time for development, and if you didn't pick up on that, then I can't help you. This one's actually interesting and kind of scary, because I know a lot of people at RMT. So Heroes of Arcasia. Combating bots and player-to-player real money transactions, RMT is a key focus of our team. While many of our past actions have been focused on reducing the efficacy and number of bots to improve the player experience of every adventure in Arcasia, we have also been developing measures to better identify and action. So they did fuck up. This isn't just me. Identify and action against RMT at scale. Can I at least get this guy's job? Like, alright, cut the rant. But yeah, either way. What else? So community, zeals for talking crap about your friends. Just talk crap to your friends. Part here. My plans is I'm going to park all of my characters at 1620 because I don't think that we need to be prepared for anything until after Behemoth. So Behemoth's not even content that I care about either. They gave us literally like a year worth of filler content. I'm happy. I'm very happy. And anybody else who's not happy is silly. Because even if Echidna comes out, it's filler content, guys. Boyos. Boyos! Hey, boyos! Boyos! 1620 is the way. It always was. And another beautiful thing that I'm going to be doing is I am consolidating gems. So some characters are getting dumbed down to either 7, 6s, or 5s, depending on how I feel in the Guardian raids with them. I keep pushing all of my alts as much as I want up until like 1 to 2 months before the content comes out, and then I have to. And since this content's coming out in like 3 months now, Behemoth, what that means for me, I stand by this. I want to make this one off, so I don't want to rant too much on side things either. So, but I just leave this at that. That's where you should be pushing. And you'll pretty much be set up for a year. I still think you're set up for a year because Behemoth doesn't really matter, and the content that comes out after Behemoth, even if it is content that matters, like getting armor pieces and eye level, it still is the start of something for the next 3-4 months to 3-4 months, 2 pieces of content upwards up after it. So therefore it's got at least 8 months of longevity into that content as well. So like that's what I'm trying to say. You guys aren't kind of getting the end game. Get your transcendence. This next year and everything is literally about getting your transcendence, getting all of that crap out of the way, and then being completely prepared for whatever next year is to bring. I don't think until like genuinely December or longer. No, maybe even longer. That's the crazy thing. I think we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe content doesn't slow down, but I think that we're in for a rude awakening in some ways. We'll see. I think it's going to slow down, in my opinion. Continuing. The point is that this total cost right here for 1620, you guys want to push one main character over alts right now, right? But the total cost for a 1620 character, and you're not getting anything for it right now. That's what's crazy. You're going to get your weapon transcendence, which you know is just completing an old system. It's not a new system, it's completing an old system. Therefore, there's a new system to come. But anyway, so 1620, right? Look at that total. 15.6 million come. And obviously that's if you sell all your dailies and you don't funnel, but you wouldn't need to funnel if you're playing the long game here. That's my whole point. That's my fucking point. You had to get to 1620 by Behemoth. That was how long you had. Like, that was just, and this, yo, you guys are silly. Y'all are silly. You're silly on a level I can't even express no more. But it's a lot of gold. A lot of gold. A lot of gold. And it ain't that much damage boost anymore. That's why they're giving us Elixir and Transcendence. Again, you guys don't understand the framework. That's what I'm trying to tell you. They gave us these systems to replace old bad systems. And they're not replacing them. Gems are still valuable. And you're still going to need gems. And eventually they're going to do a tier reset. I'm almost positive of it. But right now you still need your gems. And it still brings value. But they bring less value per gold than these other systems. Because they want these other systems to help new players get into the game and caught up. So if you're gatekeeping people, 9s are probably the requirement. It's like stiff requirement for level 20. If you're a damage, you probably need 9s. Like, there's no doubt about it in my mind anymore. The 10s, not as much. Because if you have at 1620 at least your purple elixirs and some of your first levels of Transcendence, then no, not really. As a matter of fact, I'd argue that the first levels of Transcendence are probably going to give you more damage than the gems would have. Or at least enough to make up for it. Do you know what I'm saying? So you guys don't get the framework of their game, so they want you in this phase for a while, and they want these things to be expensive, and they want you to spend a lot of time actually getting them, and that's what they're going to give you. They're going to give you a lot of time to get them because they're sideways dumbass systems that don't really matter. They gave you enough gold to do whatever you want to do. You don't need to play this much. You actually just said that you have 4 million left over, which means that technically you could play a third of the time and still be okay. That's what that says to me. Does that make sense? You only need 11 or 12 mil, you made 15. That's about 2/3 of the way there. So you can play 60% of the time and probably still hit all the goals I just talked about. So now imagine you could get 1 to 3 characters much easier. See where I'm going with this? That's my fucking point. You don't get what you're talking about, and I know it's fine, and I'll do that for a while. Like, actually a while. Like a while. Arguably until, again, a couple of months after Behemoth, because all you'd be trying to get from Behemoth is your weapon Transcendence. That's it. So I'm saying, like, that 7% damage or whatever do I still have it somewhere? I think it's on Zeal's chart. But that 7% damage is fucking irrelevant. Yeah. Oh, he doesn't put it here. I forget where I saw it, but the weapon is 7% for all of it, so it doesn't even matter. Alright, I'm kind of over this argument. You guys don't get the fucking game is the problem. They don't care. Right now is an irrelevant stage of the game, to be completely honest, dude. You're preparing for whatever 2025 is to bring. I'll keep fucking saying it, because Behemoth's not even important. It's whatever's coming out 4 months plus after Behemoth, and since Behemoth's basically October, it means 2025. $1,600 to 1620, so I would just wait. Park your characters at 1610, 1620. Leave them in, here. So leave them in that range because they'll still benefit from it to get to 1640, which is your goal, is to get as many tier 4s as possible. So leave one straggler. One character needs to stay at either 1610, 1620, or 2 characters stay at 1610, 1620. So in that range, you pick, because they'll get the benefit from these future passes. So I would keep one at 1610 probably, or one at, I'd probably keep them both at 1620 in all honesty, but that's just me. But do whatever you want, but they'll be able to benefit from it. So you're good. Really, it's a good thing to keep a character at 1610 over the next 5 months, 6 months, 7 months, 8 months. Just leave one there, because it's gonna get this pass for free and get tier 4 gems. So it's gonna actually end up more cracked. So you should pick a character.
Just have better values, I feel.
Yeah, for sure. We've had 2 or 3 ranges where the values just are bad. It's a bad climb. Actually, can I be honest with you? And I haven't said this, but I can say this because it won't ruin my videos. The range that we're moving into right now, actually 1620, 1620, so up to 1610, great value. 1620 right now to 1640, dead value. 1650 actually, dead value. We're in that same phase. People don't know it yet, but they will know as soon as I make the video on it. We're in that dead range again. That's why I'm telling people not to level up, because they're gonna give us another tier. It's a fundamental truth. As a matter of fact, the reason why they're giving us this new honing system is to buy time. People don't see it, but it's okay, they will. Sorry, side brag moment. But okay, back on your goals. So week one, you want to do what?
Reaper, and I guess we switch to Selfless this time.